First of all, I want to talk about the procedure that happened tonight. It was a fairly smooth procedure. We went through each of the committee reports, discussed them, and voted on them. I have voted against most of those committee reports, and there was reasons for that I was going to explain during the general discussion on the budget that unfortunately was preemptively shut down by a motioner to call the question. I was actually disappointed in Councilman Riley for speaking and then calling the question, and then the fact that that passed was even more disappointing to me, because there were, I think, several council members that had comments that they wanted to make. This is our city budget. Now, yes, calling the question is for the purpose of shutting down debate, but to do it in this context, I was actually surprised that it happened, and very disappointed because of the concerns that I have raised over the past several years with regard to ongoing policies that I've opposed within the budget, ongoing funding of certain entities and agencies that were created. And I'll give you an example. With the grant agencies, and I do commend the administration for creating this competitive process for grant agencies. However, there are a lot of line items in the budget that I felt should have gone into the grant agencies. As we went through, now they have become institutionalized line items that are now, I fear, going to be funded on an annual basis. I'll give you a perfect example, and a lot of people don't like to hear it, the Ives Center. $72,000 for something that was supposed to be a one-time or a short-term thing. It's now institutionalized as a line item in the budget, and there are other examples. But I thought it was more proper to explain my overall concerns with that, with the increase in debt service, with the impact of tax deferrals that we have gone through and impacting our long-term revenue at the end of the budget meeting tonight. But unfortunately, I was prevented from doing that by a motion to call the question, and I'm very disappointed. It is a tight year. I do give some credit to, not some credit, I give a lot of credit for people going through and coming up with the budget they did. But I think much of what we're having to deal with is the result of budget policies over the past several years, not just at the city level, but the state level. And let's be real about this, 8 years of the Bush administration at the federal level. This has been a trickle-down projection of ongoing revenue that is never going to cease, and we've hit a brick wall. And unfortunately, we're all sort of reaping what's been sown. And that's unfortunate. Wanted to talk more about that. I didn't have an opportunity to, so I appreciate the opportunity that you're giving me.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I do know that there were several, and myself looking at past ad hoc committee footage, I know about the Ives Center being supposed to be a startup. Another one is the Danbury Historical Society.
You could go actually through probably several hundred thousands of dollars of funding over the past 3-4 years of these sort of startup or assistance, and they're admirable causes, but that's not what you should necessarily base funding on. Or if it's an admirable cause and they need a one-time shot in the arm, okay, let's give them a shot and see how it goes. But we are consistently sort of chasing after funding needs of outside agencies. There are some that provide services that the city would have to pay more for if we were providing them. That is true. But there are more than those in the city budget that are funded. And also the creation of certain departments and the structure of certain departments, or restructuring of, I've opposed in previous years. So as a continuum for me, I think Councilman Levy said, budgets are not in isolation. They are a continuum of policies and procedures over previous years, and they project out into subsequent years. And in that light, I could not support this budget.